Hello everyone, welcome back. We are doing constraint relations. I took time to upload this lecture because I was busy recording the plus 2 syllabus portion. Now, anyhow, we are back. We'll be continuing with where we have left off. Now, in constraint relations, already we have seen pulley constraints, and I told you constraint relations will help us in reducing the number of unknowns. Okay, so while solving problems in certain situations, what you will have is you will have more number of unknowns than required. So those unknowns will be solved using constraint relations. If you have watched the previous lectures, you might have understood that is what these constraint relations are doing. Now, okay, first we are going to study, okay, in this constraint relations. Already pulley constraints has been done. So what we are going to do today is your wedge constraints. Okay, so in wedge constraints, what is going to happen, I will tell you, and what is the need, I will tell you. Okay, first need, and then how to solve it and all I will explain. Let us say you have, okay, let us say you have a support like this. Okay, these are fixed ends. Upon this you have a very thin kind of rod like this. These two ends are fixed. Okay, this is your rod. Okay, now you have a wedge as well. Okay, you have a wedge as well. Wedge mass is small m, rod's mass is small m, wedge mass is capital M. Okay, all surfaces are smooth. Okay, all surfaces are smooth. Okay, now you are supposed to find out, okay, your ultimate target is calculation of acceleration of rod and acceleration of wedge. Okay, now you are supposed to solve this. Now let me tell you an important aspect of this. Now if you just simply draw FBDs, okay, you will feel that you will be able to get the answers, but trust me, no. Why? Because if you take the free body diagram of rod, okay, if you are taking FBD of rod here, in the FBD of rod, okay, in the FBD of rod, if you take the surface like this, okay, and vertical axis like this, for example, why do I do this? I will tell you, don't worry. Now this rod is allowed to move only along y direction. This wedge is allowed to move along x direction, right? Because the rod that you have here, okay, that rod will only actually be coming downwards. Okay, rod is actually only coming downwards because of the supports here. Okay, this supports, okay, because of the supports or fixed ends that you have here, rod can only actually come down. It is allowed to move only along y direction. Now if you remove those rods, okay, if you remove those rods, what will happen is the rod can move along x as well as y, while the wedge moves only along x. Okay, as an example I have took it. So in this case, okay, you will have your normal reaction this way, gravitational force mg this way. Because of the supports you will have, okay, some n double dash this way, n double dash this way. However, that will be cancelling off. so I don't need to worry about this. I need to worry about force along y direction alone. Why? Because okay, your body is moving along y direction, right? So now here this angle is theta, theta, theta. So in this case, okay, if you write your equation, mg minus n sin, not sin, it is cos. Okay, I can replace my n with two components. Okay, I can replace my n with two components. One is n sin theta and this part is n cos theta. So if you are writing FBD, your answer will become mg minus n cos theta is equal to ma, equation number 1, may, equation number 1. Similarly, if you draw FBD of wedge, okay, if you draw free body diagram of wedge, now on the wedge that you have here, okay, I need a bigger diagram, so I'll try to draw it little big, please adjust. So you will have n dash because of ground, capital Mg also because of ground downwards. In the horizontal direction that you have here, okay, so allow me to draw this properly. So you will have normal reaction this way, okay. So n dash and mg, I will put it at that point only, don't worry. So n is this way, this angle it is theta, this is theta. So the component in the horizontal direction is n sin theta, component in the vertical direction is n cos theta, and mg will obviously act downwards, n dash because of ground will act upwards. So in the horizontal direction, if you write the equation here, n sin theta is equal to capital M into capital AX. This is equation number 2. Now, what are the unknowns in these two equations means? Okay, your unknowns are, okay, capital AX, small ay and capital N. You have 3 unknowns and 2 equations. Okay, so to solve 3 unknowns, obviously you need 3 equations, but you only have 2 equations. Okay, so my point is, okay, at this stage you will have constraint relations helping us out. Okay, your constraint relations will help out to bring the relation between AX and AY. Okay, hope you are getting my point. Okay, so to solve 3 unknowns, we need 3 equations, but FBD will give us, okay, free body diagram will give us only 2 equations. Okay, it will give us only 2 equations. So to get the third equation, we go for, okay, we go for wedge constraints. We have to go for wedge constraints. Okay, so hope you have understood the necessity. Okay, so ultimately in different situations, what is that you need is, you must be able to, okay, solve the equations and calculate the values. Ultimately the point of JEE is doing this only, right? So now here, how to do that wedge constraints I will tell you. Okay, so first basic, okay, if somebody does not actually follow what is all this, okay, for them I will tell you. Now if you have a thin rod like this, for example, let us say its initial position is like this. Now let us say it is sliding downwards. Now if it is sliding little and coming here, obviously the wedge will go, if this angle is theta, if it is sliding by some y, if this is going by x, okay, now this will become theta, this will become y, this will become x. Okay, So brute force method, okay, I can say brute force method, if you are thinking logically, okay, you can solve this question. How do you solve this is like, if looking at the diagram, if rod moves downwards by y, wedge moves towards right by x. Okay, this white color dotted line is like new position of wedge. New position of wedge. Now from the triangle, it is very clear that your tan theta is equal to y by x. Excuse me. So your tan theta is equal to y by x. Theta is constant. Y is equal to x tan theta. You differentiate it. Vy is equal to Vx into tan theta. Tan theta is constant. I don't need to differentiate it. And once again, if you differentiate, you will get Ay is equal to Ax tan theta. Now take this back and substitute into the original equation. Take these values and substitute in original equation. Now you might have got a doubt, okay, sir, is this constraint relation method? No. Those who do not know constraint relation, okay, many people will try to fix the answer this way. But as the question grows bigger, when more number of components automatically get involved, okay, you cannot do this just like that, okay, you need some proper technique, okay, to solve the questions, okay. So that proper technique is what I am going to give you today, okay. So now what is that? Let me give you the correct technique. So now hope you have understood the need. Now let me continue. So here, okay, logic, I will tell you, okay, if you have 1.1 on a body and some other 0.2 on another body, okay, let me tell you one thing. If this is 0.1 and if this is 0.2 and if this distance is d, if the body is rigid body, okay, if the body is rigid body, then what happens is, I have told you very clearly, okay, velocity of 1 relative to 2 must be equal to 0, or velocity of 2 relative to 1 must be equal to 0. This relative velocity must be 0. That means if you are standing at this point, this person is supposed to be at rest, he can rotate, but linear velocity wise, if you are talking with respect to him, for this distance to be constant, okay, that logic will get complicated because I did not do rotational dynamics. Let me not explain in this context, okay, because things will get clumsy. Wait, I'll put it in a different style so that you will be able to follow this way. Now my point is, you have two surfaces. Let us say this is 1, let us say this is 2, okay. Now if you take a common normal, okay, what is this? Normal, okay, common normal, okay. Now for these two surfaces to be in contact, okay, for these two surfaces to be in contact, for surfaces to be in contact, okay, relative velocity perpendicular to, okay, common perpendicular, okay, relative velocity to common perpendicular, okay, common perpendicular must be same in magnitude and direction. Same in magnitude and direction is the logical statement. So that means your velocity of 1.1 component, okay, your velocity 1 could be in any direction. It could be this way, that way, any way. But that velocity is component in the normal direction, and this velocity of 2's component in that direction must be same. In such a case, they will not lose contact. Okay. Now, this might look confusing for you, but for now, just remember it, or else I'll try to explain. Okay. If you know circular motion, for example, okay, what is the idea in circular motion? If you have some point, let us say this is your center. Now you have some other body, some point P, and it is allowed to move such that this distance is constant. Now what is the only direction in which it can move is like it can move only along circle keeping the distance constant, right? Now here if you take the velocity at any instant, if you take, it will be tangential to the path. There is no velocity component in this direction. Always your velocity component is v cos 90, it is 0. So my point is along the direction of line joining points, along the direction of line joining these, okay, there cannot be relative velocity. There cannot be relative velocity. Because what happens? If there is velocity component, if there is some point A here and if there is some point B, if VA is this way, some other VB is this way, if this angle is theta 1, if this angle is theta 2, along the line joining two points, VA cos theta 1, if it is equal to VB cos theta 2, then only this distance D will be constant. If not, this distance is going to be separated because the velocity components along line joining 2 points are different. So my point is, for the surfaces to be in contact, okay, your relative, okay, don't take relative velocity, okay, for surfaces to be in contact, okay, that along the common perpendicular, okay, I will write that very clearly, along common perpendicular, okay, the velocities must be same in magnitude and direction, okay. So in whichever direction it is, those components must be same, okay. So here logically if I recorrect my diagram, okay, how it is going to be is, okay, so if you have V1 this way and if you have V2 this way, if I resolve my velocities, okay, if I resolve my velocities, V2 perpendicular, V2 parallel, and this is V1 perpendicular and V1 parallel. So these two parts should be equal. Then they will not lose contact. Okay. Hope my logic you have understood. Okay. So what is that I am trying to tell you? For two surfaces to be in contact, always the velocity components that you have, okay, always the velocity components that you have along the direction of common normal must be, okay, they must be, okay, having same in, they must be same in magnitude as well as direction. Then only the bodies will not lose contact. Okay. Now I will elaborate, don't worry, with different problems. But first I have given you the brief idea. Now I will try to apply this logic to different situations. But first, before that, okay, how to draw, you need to know how to draw common normals, how to draw common normals or perpendiculars to two surfaces in different situations. Okay, so let us start, okay, as an example. Okay, while I give the question, you can guess it. Okay, all right. So my first example is this. You have a smaller block, you have a bigger block. Now what is the direction of common normal to both means it will be this way. Okay, this is your common normal. Okay, just simply keep guessing. Number 2, you have a surface like this and one more surface like this. Okay, how is your common normal? You just simply try to draw it. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, I want you to guess common sense. Okay, at the point of contact it must be perpendicular to both surfaces. Okay, the logic is at point of contact a common normal should be must be is better must be perpendicular to both surfaces. Okay, right? So this is how you are supposed to do this. Next, number 3. Okay, your third one is you have common normal this way. Okay, and you have, okay, this is your common normal. Okay, all right, so this is your common normal. So like this you will have your common normal. Okay, basically it must be perpendicular to both the surfaces. Okay, they could ask you this question also. Okay, so first for different situations we are trying to draw the diagrams. Okay, now next try to guess common normal for these two surfaces. So I told you at the point of contact it must be perpendicular to both. So this is perpendicular to both. So this is your common normal. Next, if you take, okay, if you take one more surface like this, okay, if you take one more surface like this, okay, so in which direction is your common normal means at the point of contact it will be like this. This is your common normal. At the point of contact it must be perpendicular to both. Okay, now you can pause the video clip, copy the content down. Okay, right, I'll move ahead. Next, if you take the surfaces like this, okay, almost 5 is done, so 6. If you have surfaces like this, so obviously you will have your common normal acting this way. So that means if I give you velocities you should resolve like this. Okay, alright. Next, your next case is you have probably some kind of wedge and a sphere like this. In this case your common normal will be acting this way. Next, if you have, okay, a surface like this, okay, just now we have seen, so obviously it will be like this, it will be perpendicular to both the surfaces. And if you have, for example, the surfaces like this, okay, if you have the surfaces like this acting this way, okay, so obviously your common normal will be this way, perpendicular to both the surfaces which are in contact. Okay, so now what is my point is, okay, in all these figures why did I common normal is, okay, so you are supposed to resolve, okay, we are supposed to resolve velocities along the common normal. Okay, along the common normal we are supposed to resolve the velocities. Okay, right, hope you have understood and there are no doubts at all. Okay, right. Now let's continue further. Okay, so hope there are no doubts and you have understood everything. Now let us start with simple questions. So your first question is like this: you have a sphere, you have a wedge. What is that you are supposed to do is you are supposed to find out relation between V1 and V2. Okay, take a minute time, try answer to this question. Okay, I'll help you out, don't worry. Okay, so we'll be doing some very good interesting problems. Once you know the relation between velocities, if you differentiate you will get relation between accelerations as well. So ultimately the point of learning these things is to substitute all of these back into the free body diagram equations, so that you will be able to calculate accelerations. Okay, the point of Newton's laws of motion friction chapter is calculating force, acceleration and all. Okay, so come on, try this, you'll get the answers, you don't need to worry at all. Alright, so now common normal, it will be this way, right? So you have the surfaces like this. So what is my logic? You are supposed to resolve your velocities along the direction of common normals. So velocity component of this along this is v1 cos theta. Next, v2 if you take for the wedge, okay, because wedge is moving in the horizontal direction, this angle is 90 minus theta, so this is going to become v2 cos 90 minus theta, that is equal to v2 sin theta. So what did I tell you? So along the direction of common normal, along the direction of common normal or perpendicular, velocities must be same. Velocities must be same. So that will give you what? v1 cos theta is equal to v2 sin theta. Okay. So from here your relations between accelerations, if you want, you can get it. Okay, because theta is constant, if I differentiate, derivative of velocity will become acceleration. So acceleration of 1 times, okay, cos theta, it is basically along y, ay cos theta, a1y along cos theta is equal to, this will move obviously along horizontal direction, so a2x sin theta. Okay, I'll keep capital X. This is for wedge, this is for sphere. Okay, hope you have understood the question and the solution properly. Okay, chalo, let's try next question. So you are supposed to find out in this question what is the relation between velocities and accelerations. Okay, velocities, if I mark some v1y and v2x. Come on, give it a try. 1 minute time. Don't take long time to solve it. That's not a good thing. Now the answer to this part will automatically become, as you know. So your common normal will be this way. Your velocity of small body will be this way. Velocity of second body will be this way. This angle, it is theta, so automatically this will become theta. So your components in this direction will be v2x, this is cos of 90 minus theta, so v2x cos of 90 minus theta, that is equal to v2x sin theta, and for this it is v1y cos theta. So now these two are supposed to be equal, which implies your v2x sin theta is equal to v1y cos theta. So that will give you tan theta is equal to v1y by v2x. Now if you want relation between accelerations, as I have told you, you can differentiate this. This is constant, this is constant. So a2x sin theta is equal to a1y cos theta. Like this you are supposed to solve your equations. Okay. Now with this you will be able to solve everything. Okay, and there will be no doubts at all. Okay, all right, now let's continue further. Your next thing is, okay, you will have different questions Okay, let us add slight complication into this. You have, the question is like this: a sphere is in contact with two edges. Find velocity of sphere. That is your question. Okay, basically it is in contact with two surfaces which are at an angle of 30 degrees. Okay, this side it is with the vertical, it is in contact with vertical. To the left it is in contact with the inclined plane. Okay, so what is that you are supposed to do is, okay, you do not know which side it is, but you assume some ux and uy. You are supposed to calculate your u resultant is equal to under root ux square plus uy square. Your target is that. Okay, for the wedges u and u are given. Okay, you are supposed to find out these values. Okay, hope you have understood what I have tried to tell you. Okay, uy ux unknown, this is also unknown. Okay, come on, give it a try, I will explain the answers. Alright, so first take common normal this side, do the calculation. Take common normal this way, do the calculation. Two equations and two unknowns, you will be able to solve it. Okay, come on, try it. I have given the hint. Hope you have tried for sufficient amount of time. Now, if you try to take these two surfaces, so you have the surfaces like this, your common normal is this way, this is u, you have ux, sorry, uy and ux this way. Now this angle, if it is 30 degrees, this will become 30 degrees, this will become 60 degrees. Along the common normal, velocities must be same, right? So in this scenario, okay, if you take to the left part, okay, if you take to the left part, your u cos 60, okay, in this case your first equation is u cos 60 must be equal to uy cos 30 minus, if this angle is 30, okay, this angle is 30, this will become 60 degrees. It will become uy cos 30 minus ux cos 60 degrees. Okay, I have put a minus sign because I am resolving it along this direction, right? So along this direction I am supposed to give. So in this direction you will have component this way, uy also will have component this way, uy perpendicular is this way and u perpendicular is this way, but ux is having component in this direction, so that is why I put a minus sign. Okay, downwards I am keeping plus, upwards I am keeping minus. Okay, so this is your first equation. Next, so if you want to simplify, you can. Cos 60 is equal to sin 30, u by 2 is equal to uy into cos 30 is equal to sin 60 root 3 by 2 minus us into cos 60 is 1 by 2. Okay, right? So this is your first equation, so which will give you, okay, this value. In the end, if you are getting positive answer, your assumed direction is correct. Negative answer, your assumed direction is reverse. Now for the second surface, your common normal is this way, ux this way, uy is this way, and 2u is also in the same way. So uy will not have any component in the this is not having any component in vertical direction, no component along common perpendicular. So which implies your ux is equal to 2u. Now you substitute back into this equation. So u by 2 is equal to uy into root 3 by 2 minus 2u into 1 by 2. 2 will cancel off. So you got u. So 3u by 2 is equal to uy times root 3 by 2. 2 will cancel off. Your uy is root 3u. So your final answer is, okay. So your final answer is, I got a positive answer, which means my assumed direction is correct. Your final answer is u resultant is, okay, under root 2u whole square is 4u square plus uy square is 3u square. So 4 plus 3 it is 7. So your final answer is u root 7. Okay, like this you are supposed to solve your equations. Okay, all right. Now let's go deep. Okay, you can differentiate and get the accelerations, and then you can substitute it back into the FBD equations if required. Okay, next, your next situation is like this. You have a block, it is having a velocity v1x, it is having v1y this way, it is free basically. Okay, I told you if there is no rigid support, it will move like this. You are supposed to give relation between velocities comma accelerations. Okay, this is a standard question. Almost every teacher will be discussing, those who are teaching for JEE exam. Okay, so this angle you can assume it to be theta. Okay, pause for a minute. Okay, do the video, do the solution, and then you try it. Okay, this is supposed, you are supposed to give it very carefully. Okay, so draw common normal. Hope you have tried for sufficient amount of time. v2 is this way, v1y is this way, this angle will be theta, this is theta, v1x is this way, so this will become theta, this will become 90 minus theta. So the components, okay, I will put it with blue color for example. So this will become, this angle is theta, right? So it is v2 sin theta. This is v1y cos theta. This is v1x cos 90 minus theta is sin theta. I told you your velocity components must be same. So that means your v2 sin theta, okay, v2 sin theta must be equal to v1y cos theta minus v1x sin theta. Okay, these two must be equal in the same direction. Okay, v1x is reverse, so minus sign. Okay, this is negative opposite, this side I am keeping positive. Okay, so along this, okay, v2 sin theta direction is downwards, so that is why v1y cos theta minus v1x sin theta I have written it. Okay, please don't get confused. Okay, don't write, if you want I will put it in note very clearly. Note, don't write the equation as, don't write v2 sin theta plus v1y cos theta should be equal to v1x sin theta. It is wrong. Okay, you have to take one body's velocity and equate to other body's velocity in that particular direction. So here I am taking downward part of the perpendicular, not the upward part of perpendicular. So don't equate it to 0 that way. You should make them equal in the same direction. Okay, don't get confused. Do not write this. Often children get confused and they will get the wrong answers. Okay, so if you differentiate it this way, in terms of acceleration, if you want to write, because theta is constant, a2 sin theta is equal to a1y cos theta minus a1x sin theta. Okay, don't worry, we will solve this problem. Okay, So this is a standard question which we will discuss, but first in this lecture my focus is just simply relating the velocities, that's all, nothing else. Okay, right? Next, your next situation is, okay, you have the surfaces like this. This angle is theta, V1, V2, okay. Find relation between V1 and V2. In fact, you can give relation between accelerations as well. So, as I have discussed, this will be your common normal. V1 is this way. This angle, if it is theta, 90 degrees, 90 minus theta, this will become theta. This will become V2. So, component of V1 in the perpendicular direction, V2 is already this way. For V1 it is V1 sin theta this way, V1 cos theta this way. Okay, so your answer should be V2 is equal to V1 sin theta. Okay, after I give each and every question, hope you have tried it for sufficient amount of time and then you are continuing. Okay, because if you don't try, you will not be able to do the answers properly. Okay, so trying is something very essential. Okay, right? Next, I will move ahead. So your next part is, okay, you will have the two wedges like this. Upon this there is some random rod like this. Okay, so while this is coming downwards with some V1, this is moving with some V2, this angle is theta. The question is, find relation between V1 and V2. Okay, if relation between velocities is known, if you differentiate, you will get relation between accelerations automatically. Okay, so come on, give it a try. 30 seconds time. So what is it you are supposed to do? Take common normal this way, right? So this is V2, this is V1. If this angle is theta, this will become theta. The components along this direction are V1 cos theta. This will become, if this angle is theta, this will become V2 sin theta. So your equation is V1 cos theta is equal to V2 sin theta. Okay, right? Next is slightly a tricky question. I don't know how many of you will be able to do it, but it's worth a try, I suppose. Alright, your next question is this. So you have a fixed surface like this, then followed by, upon this there is a rod, and the rod is, not of this shape, it is actually like this. Then upon this there is an inclined wedge. Okay, so this angle is 90 degrees and this is a fixed inclined plane. Okay, so this is your wedge, this is your rod, this is your fixed, you can say this is itself fixed. Okay, it is fixed, not allowed to move. Basically it is an inclined plane. What is the question is, he has labeled it as rod VA and this is moving. Okay, it is in some random shape, it is moving down of inclined plane like this VB. Your question is, you are supposed to find out relation between VA and VB. Okay, come on, give it a try. I'll explain the solution. Pause the video clip, give it a try. Of course, take the angle as theta. Now, if you try to draw common normal to these surfaces, it will be like this. So, because this angle is 90 degrees, common normal if you draw, it will be 90 degrees. So, my point here is, if you have your inclined plane like this, then your common normal will be parallel to this, because this angle is clearly mentioned in the question that it is 90 degrees. So automatically this is supposed to be 90 degrees to this surface. To this surface, if it is 90 degrees, these two will be parallel. Common normal and this line will be parallel. Okay. Now if you consider the angles here, okay, so angle wise, this angle, if it is theta, then this will become theta theta. Alright. Now similarly, if you extend this, okay, this angle will be theta, this angle will be 90 minus theta. Now very clearly your VB is given this way, VA is this way, okay, because it is vertically downwards. So automatically your component should be equal. So that implies your VB is VA cos of 90 minus theta. Cos 90 minus theta is sin theta. So you will get your VB is equal to VA sin theta as your final answer. Okay, right? So like this, all the basic questions you are supposed to do it using this common normal logic and then do the questions. Okay. Now next, let us say you are trying to do a question like this. With this we'll stop the basic ideas and then we'll be doing some more problems with using this constraint relations into the problems. So the question is like this: you have a body B, root 2 meters per second, it is going like this. Now upon this there is a sphere. Just allow me to redraw so that so you have the surface like this, then you have a block B, root 2 meters per second, it is going this way. They are on a smooth surface. There is block A like this, okay. Then this is coming downwards with Vy, this is coming this way with Vx. This point, if you mark it as A, this point if you mark it as B, okay, the distance AB is given as root 2r, okay, right? And this block is moving with this thing. This support is stationary, okay, it's not free, it is actually stationary. One support is stationary, okay, while the other is moving with root 2 meters per second as shown in the figure. Assume that sphere is slipping at not slipping, okay, here at B slipping is there, at A no slipping. At the instance shown, AB is equal to root 2r. The speed of center of sphere is dash, okay. The question is, find the speed of center of sphere. Find speed of center of sphere, okay. So here it is slipping, here it is no slipping, okay. Come on, try this question. Pause the video clip, try the answer to this question, okay. So always stick to the logic, okay. So for these two surfaces, perpendicular will be like this, okay. Pause the video clip, try the solution, okay. For these two surfaces it will be like this. Then at this surface the common normal will be this way, Okay, now take the components at B. What is the figure? At A, what is the figure? And then try it. Alright, so hope you have tried for sufficient amount of time. So at A, if you take, okay, so the common normal is this way at the surface. This is going to be your common normal. Now your Vx component is this way, Vy component is this way. For the wedge your velocity is 0. So this angle is 45, 45, 45. So because A is stationary, okay, because it is fixed, obviously your velocity component along this direction should be 0. So that means your Vy cos 45 minus Vx cos 45 is supposed to be equal to 0, which will give you Vy is equal to Vx. Now if you take similarly at B, okay, at B it is not the case. This white line, if you take it as your common normal, okay, white dotted line, okay, so this is your or yellow color, I'll mark it not to have confusion. So now this is your common normal. So if you write, this is your root 2 meters per second is your velocity for the block, and for the sphere Vx and Vy is this way, which implies, okay, along the yellow color line this angle is 45 degrees, this will be 45 degrees. So root 2 cos 45 is the velocity component for block along the common normal. This must be equal to, for the sphere your velocity component along common normal is Vx cos 45 plus Vy cos 45. So that will give you root 2 times cos 45 is anyhow 1 by root 2. So root 2 times cos 45 is that much, or cos 45 you can just simply cancel. That will give you Vx plus Vy. But Vx is equal to Vy. So root 2 is equal to 2 times Vx, that is equal to 2 times Vy. Your Vx is 1 by root 2, and which is also equal to Vy. So your resultant velocity is under root Vx square plus Vy square. Okay. So my point is, okay, out of this constraint relations, what is that I want you to take as the key idea is always take common normal, okay, and along the common normal you resolve the body's velocities and equate those, okay, whichever bodies you are resolving, you equate the components in the same direction, okay, right? So that is your basic ultimate idea, okay. Now next, sometimes, okay, you will have other forms of constraints also, okay, which you will study in rotational dynamics, but still for the sake of formality, small parts, brief ideas I will give you, okay. There are one more types of constraints called as rigid body constraints, okay. So in rigid body constraints, what is it you are going to do, I will tell you, okay. So if you have, for example, a big rigid body like this, already I have explained, if you have V1 as the velocity here, theta 1 is the angle here, V2 is the velocity of this end, and theta 2 is the angle here. For this distance to be constant, okay, for this distance to be constant, obviously your velocity components along this should be equal. So that means your V1 cos theta 1 should be equal to V2 cos theta 2, okay. These two are supposed to be equal, okay, right? So this is what you are supposed to know, okay, right? Next, similarly, if you take, okay, if you take so if you take this as your VA, okay, this as your VB, and this angle is theta, okay, right? What is the question is, you are supposed to find out relation between V and VB, for example. In such a case, what will this be the case means, this angle is vertically opposite angle, this angle is 90 minus theta. So component along this for this part is VA cos theta parallel to the length. Here it is VB cos 90 minus theta. So along the length these two components are supposed to be equal. So VB cos 90 minus theta is equal to VA cos theta. So your VB times cos of 90 minus theta is sin theta, that is equal to VA cos theta. Okay. Now you can also do this using maths. This anyhow will be covered in rotational dynamics in detail. But idea you just keep in mind so that will make calculations easy. That's all. Okay. Right. So you just keep all these things in mind. Okay. In rotational dynamics I'll be covering much more, but these brief ideas are sufficient. Okay. Now summary is, okay, in this lecture what is that you are supposed to do is, when wedges are present, okay, draw common normal or perpendicular to both the surfaces, then resolve bodies, okay, resolve bodies velocity, each body's velocity along the normal in same direction. Okay, if some component is in opposite direction, keep minus. If some component is in opposite direction, keep minus sign in the front, negative sign in the front. Okay, and equate velocity component of body 1 in particular direction should be equal to velocity component of body 2 in that particular direction. Okay, so this is what you are supposed to do. Okay, so with this we'll stop this lecture. I have covered the conceptual part of wedge constraints. Now we will apply these wedge constraints to the problems. Okay, right? Now let us go to the next lecture.